Welcome, 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 everybody. It is day 7 of the 747 Festival, and we have made it. Yes, finally. This is the 7th show of the 7th day. I can hardly believe it. What a crazy week it's been, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. So many of you have been here every single day, which just blows my mind, and it's been so fun. It's been so incredibly fun. And today we're back to kind of the basics. This is kind of my home turf, doing solo acoustic guitar. Today I'm going to do all originals. I'm actually going to do 2 sets. I'm going to do one set kind of quietly, and then I'm going to put on my my electric nails for the second set, and I'll rock out as much as I can on these guitars. So sit back and relax. I'll be playing longer than I have the other days, so just kind of hanging out with my guitar. So I hope you enjoy this. I won't be addressing your comments. I'll be reading them afterwards. So I'm not seeing your comments right now, but I appreciate everyone, and I'll read every single one of them afterwards. So thank you so much, guys, for coming back once again, for hanging out with us all week. Again, this is all today, all original music of mine, and I've picked just kind of my favorites, what I think is sort of my favorites, or the tunes that really kind of meant a lot to me, or meant something, sort of a evolution, or just something important for me along the way. So I'll say a bit about these tunes as I play them. But thanks so much for tuning in, and again for tuning in all week, all the kind comments, donations, just everything else, guys. Thank you so much. This is really a dream that's happening here. So first tune I'm going to do, it's called Over and Over Again, and I wrote this in California in the Joshua Tree, and it was at the end of my longest solo tour, which was about 45 or 46 shows over a couple months around the U.S., and I went into Canada, and my last show was in Los Angeles. And I took some days off and just went out to the desert, out to Joshua Tree, which is one of my favorite places on the planet. I just love it. And as soon as I got there, I took my guitar, this guitar, out of the trunk, and just stood up on this big flat rock and looked out over the desert. No one else in sight, no buildings in sight, no other cars except mine in sight, and wrote several tunes, actually. And this is one that I wrote. I wrote almost the whole thing, just standing there playing. So it's called Over and Over Again, and I'm thinking of the Joshua Tree, thinking of you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and here we go. Over and Over Again. And welcome if you're just hopping on right now. That was the first tune, a song called Over and Over Again I wrote in California. And thanks to everyone. I need to send a special thanks to everyone who joined this morning on the Zoom. Today is my birthday, and we had a nice Zoom chat this morning, which was super sweet. And thanks to all the nice messages everyone's been sending me for my birthday also. So thank you for that. It's been super, super sweet. This next song is one that I wrote in Mexico, and pretty early on. A number of songs that I'm going to play tonight will be from my first album, which was all music that I wrote for two different weddings, a wedding of my sister and the wedding of a couple friends of mine in California. This is one that I wrote for that wedding. It's called Danza Del Campo, and I was living in Oaxaca, Mexico at the time. And Danza Del Campo really means meadow dance, or like dance in the field. Danza Del Campo. And it was one of the first tunes that I wrote for solo guitar that was like a strumming tune. And as you know, I love strumming. So this is a song, it's always been a favorite of mine, and often I've opened up shows with this one. But it has kind of a special place for me. It's called Danza Del Campo. Hope you like this one. It's called Danza del Campo. Again, a song that I wrote when I was living in Oaxaca, Mexico. I'm gonna go back to my nylon string guitar way back. This is the guitar that started me on playing solo guitar, and those first two songs were actually written on this, as well as this one. And this is actually the very first song that I wrote for solo guitar. And I was living in Mexico at that point. I had written a lot of music before that for bands, for a bunch of different kinds of bands, loud ones, kind of quiet ones, sort of indie rock, sort of prog, all kinds of things like that, and some sort of songwriter stuff also, but never a solo guitar piece. And I was saying this morning on the Zoom chat that I had played music at a number of weddings. I would get asked for that every once in a while, and you usually would play some sort of jazz or classical stuff. But a friend of mine gave me 6 months notice. She asked if I would play at her wedding in California. And I figured, well, I've got half a year, I've got time, why don't I try writing something of my own instead of playing Pachelbel's Canon again or whatever. And that was this song, and I decided to call it Advance Notice because of all the warning that she gave me, which enabled me to kind of start in this path, and I enjoyed the process so much that I kept on going, writing solo pieces. The funny thing about this song is that it's actually one of the hardest pieces that I play. Something about it being first. It took me a long time to write it. I didn't really know what I was doing, but just kind of following my path, figuring out what I wanted to do. It just happens to still have a lot of sharp turns in it that are a little tricky to pull off. But I love playing it. I don't play it that often anymore, but it's a song I've always really loved a lot. So this is Advance Notice. It definitely has a bit of Brazilian feel to it. I was listening to a lot of stuff with sort of a Brazilian accent at that time, and I think it really belongs on the nylon string guitar. So I hope you like it. This is Advance Notice. It's called Advance Notice. It's going way back, as far as I can go back. I'm going to do another song from those very early days of my solo guitar career. And this might have been the second, I can't remember now if this was the second song that I wrote, but it may have been the second. It's called Interstate. And I wrote this for that couple that was getting married, and one of them lived in San Diego, the other one lived in Oakland in the Bay Area. And they spent a lot of time on Highway 5 running up the middle of California. And I wrote the song for them, thinking about all the traveling that they were doing through the Central Valley of California. And this one's always been a favorite of mine. Again, it's called Interstate, and definitely one that I always like doing on the nylon string. So I hope you like this one. It's called Interstate. was Interstate. I'm going to switch back to the Maton. And just a special note about this guitar. I owe so many people so many thanks for helping me get this guitar. This is the guitar that this summer a local music store had loaned to me to try out. I'd been doing a lot of demos for them of guitars, and they let me take this home and get comfortable on it because they were going to be a dealer of these guitars, which are made in Australia. And they wanted me to just kind of get comfortable so I could come in and do demos, and I just fell in love with it. And this nylon string I bought back in like 2001, 2002. So I've had it for a long time, and even before that, I always felt like nylon string was my instrument. I love the soft tone, but you can also really dig into it with your nails, really get a big sound out of it also. And steel string always felt like, it can be like really trebly and kind of harsh on the ear, and it's just for strumming and all that. But this guitar I just absolutely fell in love with. And then and I decided I really wanted to see if I could buy the guitar, which I couldn't do on my own. And so many people chipped in and really did so much to help me get this guitar. So thank you guys. Thank you to so many of you. I owe you for this guitar, which I just absolutely love writing music on it. And as you can see, I'm really enjoying playing on it too. So here's a song that I wrote. And I did write it on the old guitar, as many of these songs were written on that guitar. It's called How Can We Not? And it was a bit of an experiment for me. I wanted to start with a very common chord progression and sort of see what I could do with it, to build that as the basis, have a very common, just 4 chords looping around, and see where I could go with it. And this is what came out. It's called How Can We Not? And I really like it on this guitar here. So hope you're enjoying this. And if you're just joining us, this is day 7 of the festival, the 747 Festival, which is all taking place here at Audible Images. Shout out to Hollis Greathouse, who's making the sound so good. And also my wife, Deborah DeMazzi, who's running the cameras and has been helping all week with lights and production and everything else. So, all right, this is called How Can We Not? can we not? From a few years back. And if you're enjoying this, but you haven't really seen me before, I do this solo guitar stuff every weekday. Every day from home, I do a live concert at 5 o'clock. However you're watching right now, I do it. I do it on your channel. I do it on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and DLive and also Instagram. Not Instagram today, but Instagram also. So if you're enjoying this, it's free to join every day, every weekday at 5 o'clock. I do this. I started on March 13th, and I've done about 215, 218 shows, something like that, like this of solo guitar. So love to play for you. I'll be back on Monday. Back to my regular thing. All right, this is a song that's become a favorite of a number of people, which has been really nice to hear. A lot of people have requested this. It's called Walk in the Park. And it really is as simple as that. It really is about a walk in the park, just thinking about a couple of people walking and conversing and, maybe getting into some deep stuff, some conversation, but just walking around. All right, it's called Walk in the Park. I'm a big fan of Frick Park myself, here in Pittsburgh. This goes out to Frick Park. a walk in the park. All right, I'm gonna have a little change of pace here, or actually a very big change of pace. I'm gonna do some no hands guitar, or my hands will not actually touch the guitar. This is one called Tug of the Planet. It involves some rather unusual accessories. I'm gonna bring over this little stool to lay my guitar upon. And here, I'll introduce you to these little things. So my father's a woodworker, and my father made these little wooden bridges that I put under the strings, and I sort of described to my dad. Hi, Dad. I sort of described to him what a koto is like. A koto is a Japanese, and there are other versions of it in China and in other countries. But it's a very long instrument with long strings. In the middle, there's a big bridge supporting the string, and you can play on either side and get this very kind of twing, twing, this sort of twangy sound out of it. But I sort of described to him how it worked, and he came up with this idea, because I really wanted to make my guitar sound like a koto. So these little bridges here, I'm going to see if this works. If I hold them up, let's see. I don't know if it'll focus on them or not, but let's see if it does. It might try to focus on my face. But anyway, there are these little bridges. There we go. They just fit under the strings, and they have a little notch underneath, which my dad was very clever about, so it goes right over the fret. And unlike a capo, which presses down on the strings, this raises it up. So I can actually get 2 or more notes out of a single string. And I've written several songs using these bridges. This is one called Tug of the Planet. And I'm sort of been inspired here by the hammered dulcimer, which is an instrument that I really love. And so I'm using, so I'm actually not going to play the strings. I'm actually going to tap on them. And I have to set these up in a very particular way. Depending how I set them up, the tuning of the guitar changes. So I'm in standard tuning officially, but this changes the tuning of the guitar quite a bit. That's kind of like that. And what I use in the manner of a hammered dulcimer, a pair of chopsticks. And these are no ordinary chopsticks. These were actually sent to me by a friend who's probably on today. Hi there, Tracy. And I'm going to see if you can see these. They're actually inscribed DARYL SHAWN Tug of the Planet. They are the official chopsticks, the only ones of their kind. Maybe I should say. All right. My own line of official Tug of the Planet chopsticks. But yes, so I'm going to play the guitar with these today, and using these bridges that my dad made again. The song is called Tug of the Planet, and it's on one of my albums. By the way, if you haven't heard my recordings, I've got 5 albums out and some singles. On my website, you can see links to Spotify and Bandcamp if you're interested in hearing more stuff. Here we go. This is called Tug of the Planet, and when I was coming up with the title for the song, after I'd written it and kind of getting images in my mind, I was really thinking of sort of the videos that you'll see from space of the planet spinning underneath, and I was sort of thinking about gravity and about the planet, about the slow spin of a planet. For some reason, it brought that to mind. And the introduction, I usually just sort of improvise, just sort of settle into this sort of unique sound I have going on here, and then I go to the tune itself. So I hope you like this. This is called Tug of the Planet. Tug of the Planet. Again, featuring the bridges made by my dad. Thanks so much, Dad. That's awesome. And we've got another song using those coming up in a little while, so they will come back out again in a few tunes. All right, let me go back to playing the guitar once more. All right, this next song is one of those songs, and there comes a time with songs in a songwriter's life. There's some songs that you just kind of need to write. Sometimes they really fit a place in your own life. Sometimes you write songs for other people. Sometimes musical ideas come, and other times songs really have kind of a point and a meaning in your own life. And this is one of those songs. It's called "All Is Forgiven," and it was really about a time in my life, and was written during that time where I kind of felt like I wanted to be forgiven, and I wanted to also provide forgiveness for someone else. It's not easy to do in either case. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to forgive, and sometimes it's not easy to accept forgiveness either. It was sort of like two different situations at the same time in my life, and the song really came out of that. It was absolutely a song that I wrote during that time, and really fulfilled something for me that I needed to try to get out. So it's called "All Is Forgiven." This is my album called "In Place." It was written at a time where I was moving a lot. I had left Mexico. I was doing just a lot of touring, a lot of time on the road. I hadn't yet settled in New York, but it comes from that time, a very unique time in my life. So this is called "All Is Forgiven," and it's really about the wish for forgiveness, and not just that, but the hope that everything can be well. all is forgiven. Yeah, gone way back a few years for me, but yeah, always a song I love to play. I'm gonna switch back to the nylon string and a song that's really about looking for the human connection. It's called We Heat Seekers, and heat seekers it could apply to missiles, but here it really means looking for the warmth of other people and a connection, and it sort of has a different meaning now, I think, during the pandemic. I think where we really feel like we need this human connection. Like, it'd be so nice to hug people again, right? Like, I look forward to that so much. So much being able to just like get close to someone else would be awfully nice, right? But this is called We Heat Seekers, and in this song, I also wanted to try to get across sort of a real pulse and a real rhythm. I love African music and have been very influenced by that. And here I wanted to really get across a real rhythmic sense without adding like rhythmic percussion in the way that I sometimes do, or adding like a percussive element. So that's what I'm trying to do. This is trying to get across this rhythmic pulse without actually adding additional percussion. So I hope you like it. It's called We Heat Seekers. This is from my latest album, which is called Safe in Sound. We Heat Seekers. We Heat Seekers. Again, a pretty recent tune of mine, my very last album. Now I'm gonna go way back again, way back to the first album, to the wedding music. This one has always been a real favorite of mine, and I don't play it very often. Actually, it's a very quiet tune, and very much for a particular thing. It was written for the processional of the bride, in that very first wedding that I wrote music for. And for that wedding, I had sort of the pretentious concept of a suite. This is the Adagio movement of the As Promised suite. I usually just call it Adagio. And Adagio just basically means like slowly, stately, gracefully played. That's what I kind of wanted to get in mind for this, but it's always been a favorite. And again, I don't play it that often. It sort of calls a particular place. But I want to play this for you now. This goes way back again to my first album called As Promised. This is called As Promised, Adagio. As Promised, Adagio. And I got a few more tunes to play for you in this set. I'm gonna take a little break, 5-minute break or so. I'm gonna put on my nails and then come back and play some of my really energetic stuff in the second half. So thanks for hanging out. Again, this is day 7 of the 747 Festival. And by the way, every other show this week is archived, and the video is available to watch. So if you go to the main 747 page, even if you just go to my website, DARYLSHAWN.com, there's a link on the left to 747. You can see video for the vocal bands. There are lyrics for both of them if you're interested in that. So if you feel like going back and seeing what happened earlier in the week, you can go back to that. And I'm going to play a song that had a pretty interesting beginning. This is written an awful lot of this was written actually in Yosemite National Park, along with other national parks across the United States. My wife Deborah and I were taking a trip across the U.S. Before we moved to Pittsburgh back in 2014. And at the end of that trip, we were on the road for 5 or 6 weeks. The end of that trip was a friend's wedding, and I wanted to write some music for that wedding. I wanted to write a piece, actually a recessional for that wedding. And this is the piece that came out that was really birthed around campfires and kind of working on the road along the way. So it's a nice memory of that, of all the parks, national parks. It's called Forged in the Fire. And this one was sort of the first time that I really tried in a piece to really balance strumming with melody playing, to really do switching back and forth. So you hear some switching back and forth between strumming and then melody playing, which was the first time I'd really tried it like that. So hope you like this one. This is called Forged in the Fire. the Fire. Again, written in the national parks, which I love dearly. So I'm going to do one more song for you, then take a break. This one requires another little doodad. Oh, actually, I might do two more. Actually. Yes, this one. I'm going to go back actually to the bridges that my pops made, and this is actually the first song that I wrote using these, and it's called "Path to Huashan." And Huashan is a mountain in China, one of the famous 7 sacred mountains of China. And if you Google the most dangerous hike in the world, you'll see photos of this mountain. It's really a crazy thing. You can climb up it to the top, but to get there, first you have to climb up all these steps. I think it's 1,000 stone steps. And you get to a point where you have to basically walk around all the way around the mountain on a cliff face. And the way to walk around this cliff face is to go on these little boards, probably this wide, that are nailed on the side of this cliff. There's a chain for you to hang on to, and it's just thousands of feet down on your right-hand side. And so you have to go around the side of this mountain, slowly winding your way up this. When you get to the top, there's a tea house up there. So when you get to the top, assuming you make it there, you can have yourself a nice cup of tea to celebrate your your victory over mortality or something, I guess. But there's some amazing pictures, and you see people doing it on bikes and crazy stuff like that. I was kind of fascinated by this mountain and by the journey that some people will take to get there. So I wrote this song, and in this I try to describe the journey of what it must be like to try to climb up there, kind of up the stone steps, reaching this crazy point where you're balancing on these little bridges, and then finally getting to the top and having a nice view and a lovely cup of tea as well. So this is called "Path to Huashan," again featuring these little bridges that go underneath the strings of the guitar. All right, hope you enjoy this one. This is "Path to Huashan." path to wash on. Again, thanks, Dad, for the bridges. I always got to give him a shout out. These ingenious bridges that go under the strings. All right, guys, I'm going to do one more tune and then take a break. Come back and do some strummy stuff, some percussive stuff, pretty energetic stuff. So thanks for hanging out so far. This will be a longer show than the other nights. I got a bunch of songs. So this last one is called Mali Blues, and this is also a favorite of a number of my friends, which I really appreciate very much. And this one I really wanted to try to get across the sound of an African instrument called the kora, which is sort of a harp that you play with your thumbs. And I'm using this dollar bill in between the strings to give it this sort of plinky and sort of even buzzy sound from the guitar, which is very much like what a kora can sound like. So it's called Mali Blues. It's dedicated to the musicians of Mali, which has produced some of my favorite musicians from Africa. So this will be the last one for the set. I'll take maybe a 5-minute break, put on my nails, come back and strum for you. So thanks so much for hanging out. Really appreciate it. This is again the 7th day and last day of this 747 festival taking place here at Audible Images. Here we go. This is Mali Blues. Molly Blues. It's the last song for this set, my friends. I'm going to take about 5 minutes or so, and I'll be back right here. You'll see a screen come up, but don't worry, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Going to put my nails on, come back, and do some strumming and some percussive stuff for you. So thanks so much for hanging out. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back in just a little bit for another set. Thanks so much. Play for you soon. Okay. Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for that second. Anyway, I was just enjoying my cake. Just kidding. I was just putting my nails on. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Come back for the second set. I can't believe you're not sick of me yet. Here we are on day 7, and many of you, of course, on the Zoom call this morning. So thank you so much for giving me your attention all week and being patient as I travel all these different paths of musical possibility. I got the nails on. I'm going to do some strumming for you. This is a montage that I wrote when I was living in Mexico, and I always enjoy playing this one. So here we go. Thanks so much, my friends. So good to hang out with you. And welcome to the strumming half of the evening. Oh, it's fun to play with nails, I gotta say. It's a little bit like the Marshall stack of acoustic guitar, for me personally. I love putting them on. It's like putting the afterburners on. It's fun. It's fun to have the claws on again. All right, so this is one that you all will know, those of you who have seen me before. A real favorite of mine from back in Mexico. Many of you know it from the first chord. This is called If You Won't, I Will. That was called If You Won't, I Will. Definitely a favorite of mine to play. Always enjoyed that one. All right, at the end of the last set, I played a song called Mali Blues, which is dedicated to the musicians of Mali. I'm going to do another tune now. It's kind of a dance tune, and it's dedicated also to African musicians, especially the big band leaders like Fela Kuti and Thomas Mapfumo, and so many others. It's called Conversation with the Spirits. I'm going to use the dollar bill again. And in this Conversation with the Spirits, after I wrote the song, I realized that there's this real conversation between these chords up high and these chords low. There's sort of a question and answer, or a call and response sort of going on thing here. And to me, it makes me think about a belief in many parts of Africa that your ancestors are always with you, even after they've left the earth or around, and they can hear you, they can listen, they can do things on your behalf, you can joke with them. They're always around. And so in this song, I'm really thinking about it being a conversation with maybe the high chords being the voices of us, and the lower chords being those of the ancestors talking back. So this is called Conversation with the Spirits, and feel free to dance wherever you may be. conversation with the spirits. And I don't think I could have landed the dollar bill on my leg like that again if I tried. Usually it flies away to some random place I can never find again. But there we go. Just for the festival. That was very nice. Thank you, dollar bill. my assistant. And I'm going to do another strummy one. For a while, this is a song that I would always either open up a concert or close a concert with. It's called So Absolutely So. It's written as a recessional for a wedding. It took place in Austin, Texas. So Absolutely So. Thanks so much for hanging out. I should say, if anyone has to hop off, thanks so much for being with me, for hanging out for this festival. And I'll be back on Monday doing my regular thing, which is playing every day, every weekday at 5 o'clock. I stream on all the platforms you're seeing it on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Instagram and DLive and a couple others as well. So if you want to join me, I even have a different theme for each day. So at 5 p.m. every weekday, I'm live online, free to watch, all solo guitar from home. And it's been such a treat all week playing here at Audible Images. It's a studio outside of Pittsburgh, and it's where I recorded my last 2 albums, actually, in this same room. So it's really a treat to be here and get the same great sound. Hollis Greathouse has been managing sound for me today, and again, Deborah DeMazzi has been handling lights and cameras for me all week. So I'm getting so much help here. And of course, to all the musicians who took part all week, who worked so hard, who dealt with my badly written charts and rehearsals and all that over the past 3 or 4 months, getting ready for this crazy week. And I'm so happy how things came out. You know, whenever you're trying to do something like this, there's always technical things that you hope work out and musical things that you hope work out, and everything's just worked really well. It's sort of blowing my mind how well everything has worked. So I'm feeling really, really lucky to just be here in the studio and playing for you. Very lucky to have you and have you being willing to listen to me here and willing for everyone who's helped make this possible. This is kind of a different song. This is not really a strummy song. It's a song that's called Body of a Poet. And it goes back to my second album, which is called Body of a Poet. And it's not about some people hear that and think I'm talking about a funeral or something, and it's not the case. At that time, after the first album, which is all wedding music, with Body of a Poet, I was really kind of experimenting, trying new rhythmic things, percussive things, just really kind of experimenting, but also thinking about what it's like to live life as someone who makes music or makes art of any kind or makes baskets or whatever, any sort of creative endeavor. What it's like to have that life. And I had often heard a phrase like, someone has the hands of an architect, or the eyes of an Eagle Scout or something like that. I was thinking about what if you could describe someone in the same way as saying they have the body of a poet. They really live life like a poet. Which is something I was thinking about. What's it like to live life as a musician or like any other creative person? I kind of feel like that it really kind of informs your whole being, the way you approach every day. I know for me, music is around me all the time. Even if I'm not listening to it, it's always bopping around. It's not here. I've got a jukebox going. This song is called Body of a Poet, and it's different from a lot of my other material. It's one I don't play very often, actually, because it is sort of a different feel. But it's always kind of a special song to me. And again, it was really that time where I was really experimenting. It's the first time I really sort of combined sort of percussive element with other playing. So I hope you like this one. It's called Body of a Poet. have put. Definitely a favorite tune of mine. Again, not one that I play very often, but it's always a favorite to pull that one out. So it's nice to have the opportunity to play that today, especially in such a lovely sounding room as this. Let me get back to the Maiden and do a strumming one. This one's the title track from my latest album. It's called Safe in Sound, and another favorite of mine actually, and a favorite of some of my good friends who come join me every day also on the show. What I call the Acoustic World Service is my daily show at 5 o'clock. And Safe in Sound is really kind of as simple as that, feeling safe inside sound where you just let music kind of take over you. It can be at a live music or at home with some headphones on or something, but the music kind of takes over and you feel like as long as you're inside that environment, you're safe. This is called Safe in Sound. Safe and Sound. Safe and Sound. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I've got a few more songs for you. And move on back to the nylon string, and another song from the last album, and one that's always fun to play. for sure. It's called the Monsoon Replied, and this is really a tribute to Bollywood music, these amazing Indian productions with hundreds of dancers and these huge dance scenes going on. And what I'm imagining is a big dance scene at the end where there's the wedding happening, and weddings take place during the monsoon season. So I mentioned it's like the rain's coming back, and that's the way the monsoon replied. They have come, they've arrived, and it's time for the wedding. So it's really about a big party. It's a dance song, so feel free in your own way to dance along with this. Definitely a favorite of mine to play, always very fun. And I do love my guitar, regardless of what I do to it in this song. Thanks again for hanging out, guys. And once again, my regular show is at 5 o'clock on Monday. Looking forward to getting back that Monday. But it's been such a fun week, and thanks to everyone who's been sticking with me through all this. And I'll be reading all your comments afterward. We're actually heading out of town. We're going to be offline for the next day or two. But when I get back, I'll be back in time for Monday. And if I don't catch up yet today, I'll catch up with you then. So thanks so much for all the kind things you were saying, all the donations, and just all the kind words. So much appreciated. Here you go. This is the Monsoon Replied. Monsoon. The Monsoon has replied. All right, I've got 2 more songs left for you guys. Thank you so much. I just can't thank you enough for hanging out with me this whole week and for just all the kind words you guys have given me. Many of you have been watching me for a long time, and I appreciate all your friendship so much. And everyone who's just tuning in for the first time, I hope you dig this. I've got a lot of music out there. You might see the link to my website. There's links to a bunch of music. It's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp, it's all over the place. Easy to find, and I've got about 300 or 400 videos on YouTube. I've got lots of stuff there, lots of cover tunes, things like that. So check that out too if you want to hear more. I've also got some cool swag, just so you know, made for me by some friends here. Some stuff, T-shirts and things like that, and also mugs with our with this. What I call the acoustic music service, which is the daily show. On March 13th, when the quarantine really began, when the shutdown really began, I started something I called the Quarantour. And I did 100 shows, and it didn't take a break. I think there might have been 2 days I took a break, but I played through the weekends every day from March 13th. And it was kind of a special thing, and I decided to then start what I call the Acoustic World Service, just so we wouldn't have to think about quarantine anymore, even though a lot of us are still under quarantine or a sort of quarantine. I wanted to move on with those first 100 days were pretty special, and there's like a cool mug and some other stuff like that. So anyway, if you want to check out the merch link there, if you're interested, check it out. It's some really fun stuff. So thanks so much, guys. This is a very special song for me. It's one that I wrote in Seattle. Actually, I was on tour in Seattle, and usually songs for me take a very long time to write. That last song, Monsoon, I probably was working on that for easily a year after the first idea. But this particular song, I was staying in this motel, this like Motel 6, east of Seattle, and had a few hours before the gig, and I started playing, and I hit on this idea, and I decided to just follow through with it. Ended up finishing the whole song, and I even played it that night, that very same night. Never happened any other way. So it's a very special song for that, and has resonated with a lot of people as well. It's called Trusting in Bridges. And yeah, 2 more. I'll do this one, and then I'll finish up with a big strumming one. So thank you so much, guys. It's meant so much to me, your attention this whole week. I can't believe we're here. We've done 7 shows, and here we are, nearly at the end. So thank you so much, guys. This is called Trusting in Bridges. Trusting and Bridges. Definitely one of my favorite songs, for sure. So we've reached the end, guys. I'm going to do one more song for you. I just can't thank you enough for hanging out for me. And so many of you have been with me this entire week. 7 shows, 7 different projects right here. A whole bunch of music, a lot of music you haven't heard before. So thanks so much for your patience with me as I explore all these things. Just a big thank you to everyone involved. Again, Hollis Greathouse and everyone at Audible Images for making this possible. Deborah DeMazzi, my wife, for handling lights and cameras and helping out just so much. All the musicians for the whole week. I think there were 7 musicians involved in all the different projects. And again, they're all archived on the 747 page. Just go to my website, go to DARYLSHAWN.com. On the left side, there's a link to 747. And I'll also have the video for this as well. So if you want to go back, see what you missed, or check out some of the other projects that I've done, definitely go back and check that out. This year, I hope to release music from every one of these projects. That's my hope. At least a couple songs, not an album. Just a lot of music I'd love to document. But this week has really been about just kind of releasing them, just getting them out into the world, sort of introducing them to you. So it's been so nice of you guys to hang out with me as I do that. All right. The last song is one that I wrote in Mexico. It's called Despertada por la Madrugada, an older song of mine, and one that I re-recorded recently. So here we go. This is the last tune. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoy this, guys. Despertada por la Madrugada. times. There we go. That is it. That's the last song. It's the end of the festival. I can't believe it. I can't believe we made it. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for hanging out through a very long set tonight. Very much appreciate all your patience. I'll be back on Monday doing the daily thing at 5 o'clock on Monday at these regular channels you're seeing here. I'm playing solo guitar from home for you. So thank you again so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe and take care of each other. All right. Thanks again. It's DARYL SHAWN signing off from Audible Images one more time. All right. See you guys. Thanks again.